mad is the madhouse going to be? Pretty mad.
Extremely mad. I mean, it is literally welcome to the madhouse.
And it sort of asks the question, who is the mad person? Because it keeps switching out the answer to that question.
Yeah, well, I think it's good that it's not one word, madhouse, but two, so you realize it didn't have to be mad. It was house, fine enough, but madhouse, crazy.
It asks different questions about what madness is, and that's why it is the mad house.
It's like being locked in a really fun, really terrifying insane asylum for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Does that sell the show? I don't think it does. It plays about sort of this dying patriarch of a family in rural Pennsylvania, and all the family members, and he's being taken care of by his youngest son, who has spent a year in a mental asylum, so is possibly unstable. And a hospice nurse comes in to take care of him, and the brother and the sister come back to sort of deal with the estate and deal with his dying. And then, out of that, you get this real big family drama and dark comedy around, death and madness and family and all sorts of things.
Well, I think the brilliant part of what Theresa's written is that, it is about one of the most horrible times of anybody's family situation, which is an end of the parent's life, which is inherently not necessarily funny. And yet the challenge of being in that situation and the sort of dynamic between family members, they need laughter. They need to find a way to sort of survive through that.
There are some really serious issues that this play explores, and that's something that Theresa Rebeck, our playwright, our incredible playwright, does really, really well. She can just put light and darkness side by side.
Well, yeah, I remember always leaning away from dark comedy. It sounds like is people pulling their punches, or are they just trying to give some status to some funny, or what's?
I think it was something I said early on that I regret. So I'm sorry.
We're living with it. But blistering comedy was pretty good.
That's better. Come on, give me one more.
Yeah, it was a fierce comedy.
Nedwood, or Ed, is the middle sibling, and I think that informs a lot of his role within the family unit and as a character within the play, that he is the middleman. He feels neglected from a child point of view by his parents, but he is the bridge and the kind of negotiator and peacekeeper as best he can be.
So I play a character called Lillian, and she's a hospice worker, and she basically arrives to support the patriarch of the family, Daniel, as he transitions from life to death. And so she walks into literally the madhouse.
My character Pam, she is the sister of both Michael and Nedwood, and she sort of comes into the play towards the end of the first half as to put a stop to the party.
Yeah, so we're a sort of double act.
Mm-hmm.
We come in and disrupt the peace, or the dysfunctional, not so peaceful peace. And without giving too much away, we are brought in by Michael, played by David Harbour, to give his father a send-off, as it were.
Mm-hmm. I've realised that she's sort of like the villain of the piece, and I don't think the audience will be expecting her to do what she does. And so it is a bit of a roller coaster, I think.
I'm thrilled that we're presenting this play in London specifically because I just think London audiences are whip smart about receiving a new play. And I think for a world premiere like this one is, it is terrific to be able to understand the scripts that Theresa's written and the way that we're telling it with an audience who can keenly observe what it is we're trying to do and give us a real sense of how to build it.
I mean, yeah, I think there's been some sort of like talk about that's the hope that this play Madhouse will go to Broadway, but at the moment, who knows? It's up to the fates to decide. But it is watch this space. But it is an amazing play, and I think it will. I mean, so far in the previews, audiences have been lapping it up. So hopefully, long may that continue.
You know, the reputations of the creative team and our cast is so wonderful that I think they'd be stupid not to transfer it, to be honest. Hashtag just say
it. I think it was a confluence of events that it came here. It was a play that, you know, Theresa and I had talked about 3 years ago. And we've been developing, and then Bill decided to come on, and it was really ATG was just so interested in Theresa's work and in the play. I do consider her a playwright of the caliber, and I'm not going to pull any punches here, of the caliber of like an Arthur Miller. And I do know that, you know, in London there is a fascination with Miller, almost more so than in the States.
What do you think, Theresa? Should we do this one on Broadway? What are your feelings on that?
I do think this should be done in New York. And, you know, America has this long tradition of looking at itself in the theater. It's a theatrical tradition of how America understands itself through domestic plays about the family. For me, this is my attempt to really look at the American character in this moment where America seems to be going insane. It certainly feels that way to live there, and that we're all looking at each other with the fear that our fellow family members are absolutely bonkers.
That's a superb way of putting it. I feel like nothing else needs to be said. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we ready?
Yes. Which is, I'll ever be. It's a pretty chaotic, dark comedy in which we sort of come in halfway through and, what did you say? What was it again?
What?
Disrupt the piece, you said. Was it disrupt the piece?
Oh no, it was about the title. He's asking about the title. not
yeah.
Charlie, you have to listen to the question.
I wouldn't put that in it.
I would. That's it.
Hell yeah.